Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest when I was in high school, but I didn't realize he was a married prankster or any of that was. I didn't really know about it.
He never watched that movie. He was so pissed off about it.
Oh, really?
He thought they just tore the book's meaning apart.
Yeah.
But, sometimes a great notion was great. He thinks it was this. It made it so that he couldn't write anymore. Actually.
Really?
Cuckoo's Nest started.
He stopped looking.
He started.
Oh, he started. Oh,
He said he could never complete another decent literary project.
That's weird. It's a shame because it really helps me with my creative process.
Do you mind being on the broadcast?
I guess so.
You don't mind? Okay. Because it's
Is it actually running right now?
It is.
Sorry about that.
No, it's good.
I'm glad.
The more the merrier.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're into it.
The merrier the prankster.
Yeah. It's pretty bold what they did. Yeah, it's cool stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'd say it was about 12 years ago, and Jeff went up there, and they came down here to San Francisco, and they came by the Central Valley, and they just got the old truck going and painted it and just drove it down and just kind of like to promote the book that they had just written about the book was called Caverns. It was kind of interesting. It was they had about 12 students, and each student had a different chapter, and then they put all the chapters together, and I mean, that's a challenging literary adventure right there.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But it really was a collective effort where people got to really learn like how different writers write. And I thought it was a great class, like great content. That was all Kesey's idea.
Yeah.
He was a smart thinker.
Yeah. Situations like such as that are like kind of why I like playing free jazz so much, because everybody does it differently. And like the more people you play with, like the better you get at interpreting and bouncing off ideas off of other people. It's kind of the same thing, you know, like you just said with the writers. You just
songs are only fun the first couple times you play them anyway.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing that I like about free improvisation is, you know, until you record it, there's not a certain way to do it. Like you can do the song, you can call it the same thing and play it on a completely different instrument if you want, as long as it's, you know, and
in a way it is the same extension of the same song.
Yeah.
I mean, why call it something different?
Yeah. The one song that just keeps developing us,
Yeah, different sections and movements. It's a song of your life. Or, you know, weird sound.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got, you know, an Apogee Sound Club. I'm very focused and concerned on writing actual songs, you know, with parts that we do, you know, that change and come back to the theme and all that. But when Libertas played, it's weird. I try really hard not to think about what I'm going to do, but I can't help it. I think about it, but then right when I sit down to play and hit the first note, I forget everything I thought, and it just becomes what it is, you know. And I've been practicing my drums a lot. You know, 3 or 4 times a week. Get out there for half an hour, beat around, and you know, it's all to improve my technique. But I probably won't use half of the things that I learned. You know, just because it's nice to have a bag of tricks, but it's better to have too much. But then you never know. I might slide right into one of it. You know, I just been working on technique because it's not the most important thing. But anybody who plays free jazz will tell you that you have to be it sounds like noise to people who don't understand it, and you have to really know your shit to do it well. You know, like these guys can really play like all kinds of music, and I mean, it really helps. I mean, one thing I like about Libertas is we all listen to punk rock, and there's only like a few other jazz bands or free jazz bands I can think of that actively, you know, incorporate a punk attitude into their music, like The Thing and Original Silence with Thurston Moore, Off on Off. You know, it's just kind of a cross-pollination that's going on that I'm really excited about, because although I have seen in the last week 3 punk bands that I really liked, they didn't sound like what has been the current sound for a little bit too long, and it made me happy, and it made me lighten up on the other stuff. Like one of the bands sounded, all poppy and kind of the way everybody's doing things, but then the rest of the bands weren't. So I didn't have to sit through 4 bands who did all did the same kind of thing. So I actually appreciated the poppy band when they came on, and I'm glad people are just exploring still, because it's a shame not to explore. And it's not like that just because you're poppy, you're not exploring. I don't mean to say that at all. It's just for punk rock, I just think it's like punk rock light these days. And I'm old. I'm from a different time period. Punk was very different. It was about offending. It was about breaking taboos, not creating them. And that's part of the reason I got into free jazz, is because there's absolutely no way to commercialize that music. It just can't be done. Nobody. I mean, you have to realize you're going to play the same.
They'll find a way.
They'll find a way. Yeah, they'll steal it right up from underneath my feet as I'm speaking. They're probably integrating it into a new tennis shoe commercial. But so far, no one's been able to commercialize free improvisation, because 90% of the people that hear it don't get it. They don't see it either as music, or it's just too many notes, or whatever the reason. I think it's just, I just like how free it is. And there's so many different ways of doing it.
I think it also could reflect on the actual rock songwriting as well. I mean, for me, I like to go into the sort of left brain experimental area, and then try, if I can kind of get anything that sticks that would be worth it to make into a song. It'd be like coming from this really raw place. If I could just bring that little, it's like I was saying, the trip out part of the song, that's just bring that back and get rid of the rest of the song.
Right.
A lot of it's collage when you're writing songs.
Yeah, I definitely like doing a little improv within a structured context. But I was listening to Albert Eiler this morning, and the Copenhagen tapes, and I think is his brother playing Don Eiler? Is it Don Eiler? I don't know. There's a few trumpets, a couple saxophones, and they do a theme. And they all play a little theme together, and then it just kind of expands. It's not like they go nuts. Okay, let's go nuts now. It's just the individual expression starts taking place, and then when they've all been kind of had enough to say, they go back to the central theme, and there's little cues that we can't see. There's a lot of weird visual cues that I've never bothered to learn, because there's too much real jazz to me. But I remember playing with Carl Smith and watching him in ECFA in Austin, and they had different hand signals for what key he was going to play in, and how, what time signature, or how which part was coming next, or it had a little bit of structure to it.
That's kind of weird to me. It's kind of that's a bag of tricks as well.
Yeah.
All right, the hand signal.
It's hard. Like I said, I always think I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing until I actually start playing, and then I don't really even realize until we see the video of it or something, what I've done or how it sounded. Because I'm just trying trying not to think, to stay in the moment and just let it happen. Almost more like it's playing me than me playing it, and it's not always easy to do that, because I'm bringing this big metal thing. I know I'm going to use it. I know how I'm going to use it. But it might sit in the corner for the whole show if I don't think about it, or if I forget.
Right.
I may not even end up using it, but I have the forethought of thinking I'm going to use it. I'm going to use this tool and that tool. I don't know how I'm going to use it, and very often it's kind of like when you go on a trip and you bring 3 times more music than you actually are going to be able to listen to, because you want to have all the choices in case you're not in the mood for the same 3 CDs over and over again. It's kind of like that, you know, with the bag of tricks or whatever. Like you have them there, but like when and how you use them are always different. I mean, if you're really playing as free as you can. I think only like very small children can actually play completely free of any kind of influence. You know. But, cause like, I mean, you know, people will say, like, I mean, I don't, it's like, of course I'm thinking, I'm just not consciously thinking, you know, it's not like my brain just stops while I play, you know, so but it's kind of like just thinking as it happens, it's like, or if it's any, you know, split seconds before, or so, and then sometimes I'll do something, you know, oh, that was cool, and I'll try to do it again, it doesn't work, but it's all about taking risks. You know, like trying to push yourself further each time, whether it's with more force or trying to be further introverted and even like really like below the audience talking, even, you know, just like sometimes I've seen entire concerts where it was never louder than how we're talking right now, like the entire show was just you know, really crazy, just quiet. I saw this guy. He was in what's that magazine? Signal to Noise. You ever seen that magazine?
Yeah.
It covers a lot of experimental music. And there was a column. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It's Nick something. But he's from Austin. And the one time I saw him play, all he really did was like tune his drum and like kind of. He had a whole drum set set up, and all he really played was like the ribs on the screws, like with a little tiny screwdriver. It was really strange. He did it for like 45 minutes. I don't think he played the drums once. But he's like this hot shit guy now. It's weird. Like you never know what's gonna go over with people with this kind of music. Yeah.
I'm gonna think I'll go meet Sarah.
All right, man. Thanks for the ride in the box.
Yeah, I know. I like did a gig, and I was like thinking about it all day long about this trick that I wanted to do, or like this one melody, or this one crazy way of getting it, like something that's repetitive, maybe with the right effects and stuff. And then I just forgot to do it, and then like all I can think about is like, oh man,
yeah,
you know, get your expectations up, and then it doesn't matter anymore.
Last Apogee Sound Club show, I broke a string and I couldn't find the pipe cleaner to poke its fender, you know, so it goes through the body and you have to get that piece of string out of there. I was just having a hell of a time. Some people, it was a Thrill House, so only about maybe 20 people were even aware I was having a problem. But I was just having a fucking meltdown because I couldn't get the stupid thing out of there, and then I put on the wrong string. But it worked, you know, it worked good enough. I put 2 B's on there instead of a G. I was thinking 11, 13, 15. They should just write A, E, D on the string. Like, why does it have to be in fucking code? Colors. Those ones that come all wrapped together and you have to decide what color. Why are they like enforcing algebra on musicians? It's ridiculous. But anyway, so I thought, I was thinking it was 11, 13, 15, and it's 11, 15, 18. I needed an 18. And I was going past them trying to find 15, and I put that on. It was, you know, so a lot of the things I had prepared to do, I like kind of fell apart. Like that's when the strings broke. Like the new thing I added was like happened right when the strings broke. And then I tried to use my Ibanez, but the settings on the amp are totally different. It sounded terrible. But it was funny, and we were all, like Liz wasn't having a very good show. She wouldn't sing. She had her back to the audience. Like, I stressed everybody out. Except for Harrison, it was just, and I got the string on, and once we got going again, like nobody left. They just started talking to each other. It wasn't, I mean, probably 10 minutes tops, you know, and it felt like an hour to me because I was the one trying to, I just couldn't get anything in there. And then people were they were pretty drunk by then. It's like pleading to people, does anybody have anything skinny and straight, like a hat pin or a or a pipe cleaner or a safety pin or anything, and they just kind of staring at me like, you know. And finally, I don't know what I got it out with. I did something. I got it out of there. And I put on the next thing, and we got going. And people later, we thought, oh man, what a bummer. It was all these people here, and we had a bad show. But the people were either drunk enough, or weren't up front, or didn't care, maybe. But everyone was saying nice stuff. Oh, you guys are great show. We were all confused because we thought it was a pretty bad one. But I guess your perception, being like in the band, knowing where every note is supposed to be, versus being in the audience and like somewhat inebriated, and you've heard the songs maybe once before, it was okay. I was glad that it worked out that way, because that thing was popping D strings for a while. I had to file it down, and I just. I'm looking forward to tonight, I think. Well, I'm wondering if we're going to chase all the people out of the Sorry File, or if we will engage them. Both would be equally as pleasing.
I think people will get it over there.
They might. And
they need something like that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the free music shows that we go to are over in Oakland. Like, there's a pretty good scene over there. Tom's Place and what's that place? The International Noise Fest was at. Church of Buzzards. Church of the Buzzards is there. Mama Buzz is not there anymore.
Oh, really? That's too bad.
Yeah, we were gonna play there, but it's not there.
Didn't know that. Well, we can do our thing over at Adobe. We just gotta go over there and get it timed.
Yeah, man. We definitely should do it.
I'm ready to do it too.
Yeah. It'll be cool.
Just move a few things out of the way and just keep it real simple.
Yeah.
Friday night. Yeah, we got the okay on that one.
Yeah, I noticed they having something on the 5th, so I don't know when. Something I think, I don't know if Grux is doing the MIDI music, but it looks like he did the flyer. Looks like his art.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're doing something April 5th. So maybe like the weekend after that or something, or whatever. Just ask him what's best for him. I'm pretty open, except for April 14th, obviously.
Yeah, we're playing together.
Yeah,
it's going to be a good show. Good bill. Actually,
I should have done it today. I need to get some emulsion. I'm gonna make a silkscreen poster for it. Do you think people? Well, I know they're trying to be non-violent, but I wanted to use the copy and hit by a brick image. But I don't want to fuck with the people who are all about being non. I don't want to, misinterpret their message, like by adding mine. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just get a shot. Maybe I don't know. I could redo this. I have a couple of shots of crowds of people, that I could use. That would look good. I'll come up with something.
Yeah.
I have this coloring book that's all full of biplanes. I have this obsession with biplanes. Those paintings that were at I didn't have any money, and I went back for them, and they were gone. You remember those two that were right up in front? Fucking awesome. And I wanted both of them. They were only $25, but when I got paid, they were gone. But I have a little one that I got there. It's kind of cool. It's kind of reflective. It's weird. I used to have tons of biplane pictures all over my room at 22nd Street. But so I have this coloring book. It's got just line drawings of biplanes. So I might use that and like put a little banner behind it, that says Occupy or We Are the 99% or something like that. Integrate my own art with the preconceived art. I'll have to come up with something. I don't really fully understand what the benefit's for. It seems like it's for a lot of different things.
Yeah. Well, where do you stand on the whole? I know that obviously throwing a brick at a cop and all that.
I'm nonviolent with people who are nonviolent with me. If anybody shows any aggression, towards me, it's going to come back to them tenfold. That's just, that's the only way. That's the way I've been taught to deal with violence, is by overcoming that violence with more violence.
So that's just more of an individual rather than a group kind of consciousness.
I mean, all I know, I don't know. I'm afraid to go down there because I would probably get myself shot. Because I'm not afraid of those fucking assholes. I used to be, and I'm not anymore. After knocking a couple of them down and one of them out completely, the cops don't scare me at all. And that kind of makes me a little psycho. Like, I don't care what I do in front of them. I get wrapped up in what I'm doing, and I don't want to go against what the majority of the people are trying to do. I just know how I behave in protest, and I think I would be unwelcome. I mean, maybe I would be different. If the cops weren't violent, I wouldn't be violent. But I'm not going to stand by and get clubbed just because, I read a book by Dr. Martin Luther King and Tolstoy, and I don't think civil disobedience is going to help anything. They don't care. And part of the NDAA is you can't protest in any way that impedes any government activity. So that pretty much means you can protest, in your garage or something. You can protest in the comfort of your own home. You can have Tupperware parties and talk about revolution, but pretty soon it's and I think it won't be long before protesting at all will be completely outlawed. You're just not allowed to. You can't. It's anti-American. It's not like pro-civil rights. It's anti-American. And I think it's just going to become easier and easier to be referred to as a belligerent, and just warehouse. There are warehouses, and how many prisoners are there, that we know about in the country, just in regular state, federal prisons, and who knows how many of them even should be there. Or I hate prisons. I don't think anybody, if someone fucking killed and raped my mom, I would just fucking kill them. I wouldn't want to go through the court system and see them get justice served. I wouldn't feel good about, sin and some. I've never called the cops for anything in my entire life ever, and I never will. And I haven't needed them. I've always taken care of my own problems. If somebody attacks me, I just fight back. I don't get on myself, I'm being attacked, come help me. And then when they're not there, I'll fuck the pigs, Some people are like that. They're all listening to hip-hop and Cop Killer and all this kind of stuff. But then when there's an actual cop around, they're all, be cool, be cool. I don't know. It's weird. Fuck the pigs. They don't scare me anymore. They did everything they can do to me, pretty much, except shoot me. So fuck them. And then those kind of sentiments are that's what I think about when I'm playing my drums, things like that. I was reading in that book, Music and the Creative Spirit. A lot of people say the same thing, their music, just the nature of how just the nature of the music itself is kind of resistant. And very resistance oriented, and I think even though it's instrumental in most cases, I think that it's got some heavy politics attached to it. It's a lot of responsibility to take on that much freedom, or to allow yourself to just go. And I don't know. I just hope they don't make it impossible to play the music that I play. Because It's the only thing that keeps it from being dangerous is that not many people can relate to it. But if suddenly a lot of people related to that music, I think it would move people to think about different things and more. It's the people I've met through playing with or listening to or playing in front of, that are all involved in improvised creative music, usually have pretty right on politics. Some of them still believe in electoral things, and even us, You know, I'm an anarchist pretty much. You know, I'm not sure how I would define how I'm an anarchist. I just try to live my life as freely as possible, and without, you know, I mean, I'm a pack rat. I collect things, but they're usually books and music, and, you know, I don't think of like, oh wow, this record's worth $42 and I'm only getting it for $2. What a score! You know, I listen to it. You know, it's what I do instead of watching the news and reading the newspaper. It's like that shit is all bullshit and lies and has nothing in there for me. It's gonna try to trick me. You know, and even TV, I won't watch it with the sound on. I'm just too aware that I'm, you know, it's just, I grew up on TV. I know the ins and outs. I know I've been, you know, I remember when they made fun of a razor having 5 blades on Saturday Night Live. Quintipio! And they showed it like peeling away the skin and all, and now I think I probably have one, like a 5-bladed razor. I mean, I got to do my whole head. I need all the help I can get, you know. But it's a crazy time, and I think it's a really fun time to be doing improvised music, because like people, I noticed like the way to get people to see that it's a valid form of art is to take them to a live show. Like if you play them a record, they can't. You're not there, and the music is really about it happening while it's happening, you know. And seeing it live, that's what won me over. And I always loved Coltrane, and even his craziest stuff is some of my favorite. But it still is a little more structured than what I was wanting to hear. And kind of lost my train of thought there. It's just how, I'm sure, I can guarantee you, jazz purists would say, you know, that Peter Brooksman has no idea what he's doing, or he's wasting his time, or you know, like Jimmy. I'm surprised he didn't chime in, because he hates all the improv stuff. He can't stand it.
That's why he didn't chime in.
Yeah.
Well, you know, to put the label jazz onto it.
Well, it's like no one can define what jazz is.
Yeah.
People can only define what jazz was. You know what I mean? And that's why, like we were talking about the Marcellus brothers, like they're playing what jazz was. They're playing, you know, on purpose a particular style, and like if you don't play that style, you're not a real musician. And this is not just like, I mean, it is mostly my opinion, but it's an opinion based on things I've heard them say in various documentaries about free music. They always put it down. Like he put down Cecil Taylor. Brandon Marcellus said something. Cecil Taylor said something to the effect of, people need to prepare for my concerts. And he, not only did he misunderstand the quote, but he was like, I don't feel like I have to throw a few grounders before I go see the Cubs play. It's like, you know, I think that's just bullshit, preparing. He just starts bragging on Cecil Taylor's comments. And I'm like, no, have you ever seen Cecil Taylor? You do need to prepare to see Cecil Taylor. He's an incredibly complex, multifaceted, scientific musician. And I understand that. It is good. It would be good to catch up on, you know, literature and things that are going to put you in the frame of mind to experience what he does. And maybe it's a little cocky to say something like that, but he's an eccentric, you know. I'm sure, and people have been telling him he's great for, you know, a long time, and people have been telling him he sucks for a really long time. Luckily, he chose the path of believing he's good and continued to play. I just got a really good Cecil Taylor and Tony Oxley CD from, I think it's from the 90s maybe. But Tony Oxley's a pretty cool drummer that I wasn't aware of for many years. Only in the last couple of years have I known about him. That's the best thing about free jazz. The drummers are all fucking awesome. All the drummers are good. And even though there is kind of like a Bay Area style, it's not the way I play, and I was kind of stressing over it for a while. So I'm like, maybe should I be trying to play more like that? And then I don't know. I just came to the conclusion that it's just better to have my own style, even if it's not like as technically or demonstrating technical aspects of it as well as these guys were doing. Like it's very quick and very precise and almost like a little too sure. Like there's not enough like
abandon.
There's no uncertainty. Like they know, they know where everything is. It's almost like they're not really pushing themselves. It's like they've learned a comfortable. It's almost like just playing time.
Mm-hmm.
They've learned it, and it's really impressive. And I love the drummers who play that way. But I can't see myself ever doing that. It's just not the way I play drums or think about drums at all. And I think in the end that will be to our benefit, not to our demise. But I struggled with it for a couple of weeks. Like, maybe I need to practice and try to work this out. And it's just, and then I watched one of our videos. I hadn't watched it in a while, and I don't know. I think I lightened up on myself after paying attention. I think I watched a bunch of those drummers on videos in a row, and then I watched us, and I'm like, well, one thing that's different is all those guys kind of play the same, and I don't play as quick as them, but it sounds different, and it fits like just the way that Liz like fades stuff in and fades out. Like if I was doing some kind of constant beat, you would lose all of that weird conversational things that we have going on, and I'm sure I played totally different when I played with Walter, and with the Reaction Freedom Machine, I played pretty much the whole time. But it's just